I wanted to show you how some of the things you could do to finish your trays off. Now this is a really nice leather hard right now. So I've gone around and cleaned up the edges. Do a little bit more. You can take a chamois and round them. Now, you have possibilities with these. Going to add to them. Grab some clay. Roll a coil. Now, to make it longer, you just move your hands out. The rim on that plate, it's just a little bit on the thin side. You can change it. Let's take a look and see. Okay, this coil needs to be a little bit longer. So I'm just going to move my hands out to the ends. Keep rolling. Just going like this. Now, if you find you're getting a flat spot, stop and just roll a little bit on that flat spot, then let it roll for a little bit, and it'll round it out nicely. Let's see how it is now. Just about. I think if I press it on, it would be fine. Now, a little bit boring. Has possibilities. I'm going to roll it just a tiny little bit more. Make it just a little bit longer. I'm just laying it on here to try. I'm not saying this is going to be the final, ultimate, most beautiful finish to this piece, but I'm just trying it. So that's a little clunky. What if I flatten it? So I'm going to take a little rolling pin. This tool is called a pony roller. And I'll just roll it on both sides. I like that a lot better. Now, look what you could do. You could make that as a design element there. In fact, I kind of like that. I think I'll keep that. So what I'm going to do is score it. I'm using the toothy rib. Break down that edge. I'm going to put some water on here and score it again. Which creates a bit of a slip. Now this, I'm just going to score right along the whole length of the thing. Wet it just a little bit. Score it again. You see what I'm doing is I'm creating a slip. Okay, let's put this on. I got this kind of wet. I don't need to have it anywhere near this wet. Oh, I like the way it crosses over there, so I'm going to keep that. Just pressing it down, making sure it's really well attached. That water out of the sponge and just kind of go over it. It's good to work on a board, and that way you can move it around. Okay. One possibility. Pay attention to the lines that this creates. I had a bump there, so I went over it several times to create a more flowing, continuous line. I think I want it to drape down around the outside edge, so I'm going to just roll it around the outside. Now when I push this on, it created kind of an indent there. I like to think of that as an opportunity. So, I'm going to add something. There. Now look at the outside edge. Get that so it flows. Kind of have a couple straight lines, then I've got an S-curve happening here, and a nice continuous curve happening on this side. So I'm going to make that just a little bit straighter. So just take it like that. like that. Okay. So maybe add some details. So those little details will set your piece apart from anybody else's. Just cleaning that little bit of slip out of that joint. And it packs it in a little bit so I won't get a crack there. If you leave that wet clay there, it has the potential to crack. Also, think about how that glaze is going to pool in this crevice. So I could leave it like this. Now I could also flip it. You know, it's sitting pretty low to the ground. It's pretty flat. I could add some feet to it. I'll take it and flip it. So always good to look at both sides. So I can do a little cleanup here. Make sure that joint is good. Get that wrapping around the edge there. Okay, get all these little chunks off. Now, if you're going to put a foot on your piece, you have options. You could put one continuous one that goes all the way around like that. You could put several. So I could put one here, one here, one here, one here. I think I'll do that. Just soften the clay just a little bit. Now remember, you always want to support it right where the wall of the pot meets the floor of the pot. That way, it'll support it. Later on in the firing, this will get soft, so if you put the foot right in here, the whole piece will collapse on you. It may not collapse evenly. That'd be nice if it did, but it may just kind of go angle over or collapse over. So get it out. It doesn't have to be right at the very edge, but just close to the edge. And that way, it'll support the weight of the plate. So I'm going to make some feet. I'm going to take the clay, roll it out into a coil again. Now, I could put something like that on there. It'd be kind of nice. You want to make sure that they're all the same height, of course. And you can check that once you get it turned back right side up. You can flatten them. Make a little slab. And when you put this on, You fold it over like that and attach it that way, and it'd be sitting up on those points. Kind of like that. So we put that one on. I'm just going to place it there to see how I like it. You can also do variations on these ideas. So roll your coil. Take the edge of the stick and just let it roll along, creating a nice groove on there. A little more interesting. Still a little bit on the big side for this plate. I think I'm going to bring it down to maybe 1/4 of an inch. Okay. See if that's about the right size. Yeah. So I want 4 like this. And then decide where I want them. I'm going to go out here, right at this curve, right around here, and right here. So the same thing as putting the coil on the top lip. Scratch it. And these I could put on like this. Which is kind of nice. Or I can go up like that. I think I'll go flat on these. Now, if you want to try to bend them without them cracking or changing, dampen them just a little bit. Just kind of go over them a couple times with a sponge. Now, wet here. Score. Wet here. Score. And push it on. Really get it, make sure you don't just place it on there. It's got to be pushed on pretty well. Go over here, here. Little water, little water. Push it on. Even roll it on to really make sure it's on there well. I'll do something to the ends here after I get all these on. This one doesn't want such a large piece, so I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Yeah, about like that. Little water, little scratching, little scratching, little water. and compression. Last one. Wet that just a little bit so it'll bend nicely. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Create a little slip and attach. By doing this little thing I just did, it makes it feel more like it's growing out of the piece. Just make sure it's well bonded when you do that. Don't forget to sign. Don't worry so much about cleaning that off. Now, I can leave this upside down like this, and that'll let these firm up. But what I think I want to do is make sure it's level. So I'm going to flip it onto a level board. And that way I can also see it finished. See, that sets it up, gives it a little lift, makes it more formal. Now, you don't have to end here. I don't think so. But what I can do, I just made a little carrot and I'm flattening it. And I'll take a sponge and pull it out. Could do something like that. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. You know, of course, you could add things. You know, that's really up to you. Okay, thanks a lot.